The thing that I like the most about the Battles of Legends set is not only do we get some awesome reprints, we also tend to get some outlier new cards that help other strategies, or sometimes we get support for a strategy that may not be good at that current time, but later over time it becomes amazing. The Battles of Legends Armageddon set seems to be no stranger to this concept. There are some really cool reprints and even some better new release cards inside of this set. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys some of the top reprints as well as some of the top new cards and how you can apply them to your strategy. So if you guys want to see more videos like this, then make sure you destroy that subscribe button, but also be sure to hit that notification bell because, well, we just too strong. So without further ado, let's jump on in. The first card I want to talk to you guys about is Chaos Emperor Dragon of Armageddon. Now this is a retrain of the Chaos Emperor Dragon card. It's a pendulum monster too. Its pendulum effect reads, you can pay 1,000 life points and destroy this card and add one of your banished dragon monsters to your hand. That effect is really good whether you're playing Rocket Dragon Link all the way up to Blue Eyes. That effect is just universal for any dragon-based strategy. The second effect of Chaos Emperor Dragon is a complete retrain of the original version. It can only be summoned by banishing a light or dark monster, and at the cost of half your life points, you can send cards you control to the graveyard to send cards your opponent controls to the graveyard. Chaos Emperor Dragon of Armageddon was once a prize card that was at least $800 to get a copy of. Now, by opening packs of Battles of Legend Armageddon, you can get it for a lot cheaper. Next is a new Yu-Gi-Oh card exclusive to the Battles of Legend set. Fire Flint Lady can be special summoned to your side of the field by controlling the warrior monster. It can also send itself from the field to the graveyard to special summon a level 4 or lower warrior monster from your hand to your side of the field. Now, Fire Flint Lady is comparable to other warrior cards like Junk Forward, but Fire Flint Lady is a little different because it is a fire warrior monster. The new Noble Knight strategy is going to be a fire warrior based strategy, and Fire Flint Lady could be perfect for the deck. And even if you decide not to play the Noble Knight strategy, Fire Flint Lady is just an additional monster that you can play inside of your warrior deck to get the E-Soul, and most warrior decks revolve around E-Soul. Now, if you guys seen the top cards you should sell before they plummet in price video, I really recommend for new players or players alike to check out that video. It gives you inside scoop on cards you may be wanting to get rid of. I did in that video say that Invocation was going to be reprinted inside the Battles of Legends set. There was no way in my mind that this card could not be reprinted. And lo and behold, it happened. It's like I'm psychic or something, or like, I don't know, I can see trends. Invocation is an amazing card, and it only makes sense for it to be reprinted inside of the Armageddon set. It's going to start to pick up in competitive relevancy. Invoked Drogma is a strategy that can be conceptualized when Rise of the Duelist comes out, but Invoked also plays really well with strategies of right now, like Edlich. The card is currently being heavily sought after, meaning that a reprint inside of a Battle Legends set felt inevitable. This gives players another opportunity to pick up Invocation just in case they wanted to play the strategy. Now for our next cards, we're going to be doing a 2-for-1. These two cards work in perfect tandem with each other, and I'm telling you, they just might be some of the best cards in the set. Numeron Wall says, if you control no cards, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to activate a Numeron network from your hand or deck. That is completely amazing. But just in case you already have Numeron Network on the field, making Numeron Wall a little dead, if you were to take battle damage, you can special summon Numeron Wall to your side of the field and then end your opponent's battle phase at the end of damage calculation. So you're telling me it's a battle fader and a terraforming? This is broken. Now, Numeron Network is also a really good card. It allows you to send a Numeron spell card that makes the criteria from your deck to the graveyard and gain its effects. It also allows you to activate the effects of your Numeron monsters without detaching materials. This is some of the best cards ever created for the Numeron or numbers archetype. I mean, not the separate numbers by themselves, but like the individual strategy. The next card is a long-awaited reprint for players that weren't able to pick up the card 6 years ago. Madolche made its debut in the Primal Origin set, and I can tell you all the way up until maybe last year, the card sat no higher than $15. Now looking at the same Madolche Angeles that were no more than $15, they're almost $40 a pop. I'm not saying that the Madolche deck is bad or anything, it's a really good deck, and it's better now than probably ever before. But it's kind of unfair to players that did not play such long ago to not have access to a card that's rather expensive. And while I would have loved a Madolche Messengelato reprint inside of Ultra Rare, I can still cross my fingers for a super rare version in OTS 14. You know what to do, Konami. Don't mess with me. The next cards I am going to bring to you guys is another twofer, as the Numeron cards are really exciting. Numeron Calling can only be activated if Numeron Network is on your side of the field, but allows you to spell summon 4 Numeron Gate monsters with different names from your extra deck to your side of the field. Imagine doing that in Master Rule 4, that you need like multiple arrows to summon these monsters because none of them are links. Of course, these monsters are banished at the end of the turn, and you can only normal summon or special summon once after this card is activated. Since when did after stop somebody? If a card says for the rest of the turn, it basically just says do everything you want beforehand. That actually segues us into the Numeron Gate Xe monsters that you can summon, all having similar effects. They cannot be destroyed by battle, and after damage calculation, you can detach one material to double the attack of all your Numeron monsters. The cool thing about the Numeron Gate cards is that you don't need to detach a material if you have your Numeron Network card on your side of the field. You can essentially double the attack of all of these monsters until they're extremely powerful and then go for huge damage. The Numeron strategy works really well with the Invoked archetype, the same archetype that just got its most expensive cards reprinted. And if you play your 14 million hand traps, ta-da, you have a competitive deck out of Battles of Legends Armageddon. I can't wait to give you guys a deck profile of that. Now moving back to a top reprint, Artifact Sanctum has already been reprinted in a Battles of Legends set. If I can remember correctly, it was Battles of Legends Relentless Revenge, but that doesn't matter. Another reprint of Artifact Sanctum means that artifacts will probably be good again at some point in time in the future. I mean, you really can't hold it against artifacts. They do have a monster that prevents your opponent from special summoning from the extra deck for the entirety of the turn. They also have an artifact monster that prevents the opponent from banishing cards for the entirety of the turn. They have artifact monsters that destroy cards non-discriminatively, so no targeting on your opponent's turn. Artifacts aren't really bad, and it's really cool to see that its main card gets reprinted, allowing newer players to get access to this card without having to pay all of the money in the world. Because imagine if it only had its ultra rare reprinting. A new card that may surprise you that is on this list is Fossil Warrior Skull Knight. Now, Fossil Warrior Skull Knight requires a rock monster and a level 5 or 6 monster, which doesn't seem terribly hard to do. Now, it must first be special summoned using Fossil Fusion, and if it attacks and inflicts piercing damage. Also, if it attacks a monster and destroys him in battle, it can attack once again, so there's an opportunity to inflict double piercing damage with this card. That is not why we think this card's good. In actuality, the reason why we think this card's good is pretty shady. Now, Fossil Warrior Skull Knight does have an effect that you can banish it from the graveyard to destroy a monster on the field. We are going to abuse the living daylights out of that effect. I'm not even speaking for fossil-based decks. I'm speaking for decks like Infernoid, who can send multiple cards from the extra deck to the graveyard, or decks that run Mega Zabor, which allows you to send multiple cards from the deck to the graveyard. Being able to send multiple copies of Elder Entity Intis, which allow you to destroy multiple cards on the field, but you can also combine it with this card, which allows you to destroy even more cards on the field. Boy, those strategies just got a lot stronger by putting this card in their extra deck. Now I know a card that players are super excited about being reprinted is Salomon Great Sunlight Wolf. This card has been really expensive ever since it came out. In the Savage Strike set, getting a rare copy of this card was about $7, and even the super rare cards at one point in time were extremely expensive. You can argue that Solomon Great Sunlight Wolf has never had a proper printing, seeing that the rare felt like a short print rare and the super was an OTS set card. Hopefully Battles of Legend Armageddon will do it justice. Regardless, Solomon Great Sunlight Wolf will be an upgrade rarity and will in theory be easier to get. And the last card I want to talk to you guys about is a new card making its debut in the Battles of Legend set. It's Fossil Fusion. Now, Fossil Fusion allows you to fusion summon a fossil monster from your extra deck by using appropriate cards in the graveyard. Notice it says graveyards, so you can use yours and your opponent's, similar to how Invocation works. Now, the cool thing about Fossil Fusion is that it actually rewards you for banishing cards in your opponent's graveyard, because if you do, the monster you summon can't be targeted by card effects. So a monster that just so happens to be able to attack multiple monsters, inflict piercing damage, and then when it's sent to the graveyard, it can banish itself to destroy monsters, also can't be targeted by card effects. That's a little good. Another thing that I like about the Fossil Fusion card is that if one of your Fossil Fusion monsters are destroyed by battle or card effect, you can just add this card from your graveyard to your hand. So it's very similar to how Invocation works, being able to banish both players or cards from both players' graveyards and allowing to recur itself back into your hand. I think Fossil Fusion is a pretty good card. Well, that's all that I have for the best cards in Battles of Legends Armageddon. Of course, I couldn't put every single card on this list. It would be a very, very long list. I want you guys to post down below in the comment section what cards do you think should be on this list as well. And players that want to see a full spoiler of the list, I will leave that down below in the description. Also, if you guys want to see more videos, then check out some of these. They're extremely awesome. Regardless, I hope you guys are staying safe and having a great day. I'll catch you on the next video.